Hello everyone, this is Foxhound coming back again with another video. As promised, today I'm going to cover this small tutorial regarding damage with strike fighters. So this is going to be like one of 3 videos that I'm going to pop by, and something that you need to take into account is, and before anything else, I did a tier list of strike fighters. Please, if you don't have a good strike fighter, please consider getting the flogger. For some reason it is cheap, people are crazy. Get it while you can, okay, if you don't have a good strike fighter. Anyways, a couple of things that you need to take into account into strike fighters. Why is it important? Because strike fighters are considered to be the heart of your aviation, let's put it this way, because you have a high number of reserves, meaning you don't run out of strike fighters. Usually they come alive faster, meaning that once the strike fighter comes down, the new squadron will come out soon, let's put it this way. And let's see, for example, in this case, let's see, we're going to have the aviation reserve recon data. Usually they're going to again come out and you can use strike fighters continuously. Of course, it depends on which one you are using. The most expensive ones are able to reload faster, let's put it this way, in case you need to do that. For example, this one is 40 seconds. SU-39 is going to be something crazy. Yeah, still 40 seconds cooldown. So it's pretty much the same, actually. Very surprised over there. Again, get the flogger. Anyways, but before we even start talking about tactics, and this is going to be more focused on just in case bombers that are meant to have armament that cannot be avoided, meaning they have some type of grenade launcher like this one, or like the SU-39, yeah, which also has a armament that cannot be avoided, which is the second missile. Yeah, these are type of strike fighters that you are meant to use up close. They are not depending on missiles. But anyways, in general, I will say rules on engagement with strike fighters. First, mistakes that I did when I started to use ACVs. Don't expect strike fighters to live. That's the first realization you need to take into account. I used in the past to try to save my strike fighters. I was thinking, oh, even like if there is a pilot over there that's a living being over there in this plane, oh, poor him, the first person is going to die. Okay, let's just be realistic. This is a game, yeah? And even in war, you will say that you will expect it to lose a couple of planes. So do not try to save your strike fighters in the first launches, yeah? I would say that it's even better to let them go down, because it's easier for you to, let's put it this way, launch a new strike fighter in the next volley of attacks, rather than just waiting for you to go back to the ACV or CB and come back. The only exception to the rule is when you do not have other aviation anymore. Like, for example, if you have, for example, drones, or if you have bombers and you have used all the reserves, then yes, it is mandatory for you to try to save your strike fighters after you attack. Otherwise, in the beginning of the match, don't expect that you are going to bring these strike fighters and you are going to let them live. Okay, it's easier for you just to let them go down, because that way you can just launch a new one soon and you can continue to do an attack. Second thing that I will highly advise in order to do high damage is when you have the strike fighter, most of people try to do maneuvers, to stay away and all these things, which is important. Yeah, it's important to maneuver, but bear in mind, in order to make the most of damage, you need to try to at least reach 2 volleys of attack with all the armament that you have. Yes, there are tactics that are used to, for example, try to get the flares of the enemy, so you can wait for the enemy to use the flares and then use the missiles. However, with this type of strike fighter, or any other ones, I would say, well, that are not heavily depending on missiles in order to do the attack, you are trying just to launch all the armament as often as possible, and as soon as the reload of the missile or grenade launcher is up, launch immediately. Don't wait, because you are better off launching more missiles and more grenade launchers per second, let's put it this way, rather than just waiting for the enemy to flare. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but when you select a strike fighter, you have to look at the reload speed of your missiles. Usually, a strike fighter that requires you just to get to some distance and use your attacks as much as possible are going to have missiles that are around 7, yeah, on the reload, like this one over here. Both of them are 7 and one of 10, so usually like borderline 10. So if the strike fighter has a reload speed below 10 and around 7, do not try to flare. It's better for you just to use all your missiles, and if they flare, good. I mean, the next missile is coming anyways, and you are wasting less time. Yes, so you're able to use the damage and try to use them as quickly as possible. Other tactics that I would recommend for this one, I'm going to use to do an initial practice, and then I'm going to bring this into a test. Ways of engaging with this type of strike fighters, okay? And this applies, for example, for the SU-39. I'm going to bring this one just to make sure that I'm not using overpowered items. This one in particular cannot target planes. Ideally, I mean, there's so much to talk about the strike fighters, but let me see if I can reduce the volume a little bit. Oh, too quiet. Okay, here. Now you can hear me better. So, you have to bear in mind, yes, but that with these strike fighters, that there are ones that can target planes, other ones that cannot target planes. This one can target planes with this machine gun, yeah, but in general, you are going to be focused on targeting the ships. Don't get me wrong, if your strike fighter has missiles to target planes, you must use them to try to control the air. Again, this is the most basic initial guideline that I'm doing, so that's why I'm using this plane, just to show how to attack ships. Okay, there's going to be maybe another tutorial on how to handle the air. For the time being, let's focus on ships. So what will you do in this type of things? There are two ways to engage into an attack, and I'm going just to show the movement, and then afterwards I'm going to do the test. One way is just to get close, reduce the speed once you are on distance, and then target as much as possible. And people, make sure that when you are on distance to use the cannons as well. Very important. People forget to use the cannons. You should always be using the cannons if they're available for you, yeah, while you are waiting for your missiles to launch. So always press the button on the cannons if you are on range. So what I will recommend for this type of things is that either you can decide to go up, stay on distance, and then afterwards reduce speed, and then just focus on targeting the ship. Okay, that is one way of doing it. The only risk about that is that the air defenses sometimes can take a plane or two before you get close and on range of all the missiles. Other way is just to evade, just go up, and that way you make sure that you are keeping distance. Use the trick as I mentioned to move your plane left or right if needed. Make sure to be careful when that happens, when you scale all the way up. Sometimes the camera does that. And the idea here is that you go up. There are 3 stages. You go up, then you are in the middle, and then you go into a dive into the final attack. Yeah. Now I am using this tactic more. I used to be the one that used to just do this and attack from distance, which is usable for the SU-39. But I find out that with this tactic you are able to keep your planes alive more and able to launch at least 2 volleys of attack. So that's why it is recommended. Now I'm going to show you a live example. Yeah, over here. So again, try to keep your speed up all the time, right? This is when, let's imagine I'm going to put some distance over here, around 7 kilometers, right? Yes, a little bit more, 8 kilometers, good. So now that I'm on 8 kilometers, yeah, the run starts. So launch all the missiles. Of course, you have to be aware of which missiles require more time to reload and which ones do require less time to reload. Now that I have launched 2 volleys, I am aware that now this is the last round per attack, so I'm going now to get close, use your missiles, and try to again lose the cannon as well. Try to do this consistently and you will be able to pull off, you are looking around 150 to 200 damage. If you are unlucky, you may get 100 damage, 100k damage, but overall your objective is to try to do that at least 150 to 200 damage per plane that you launch. So at the end of the match you are looking around, like for example 600k damage minimum with Strike Fighter. Those numbers can increase as the match progresses because there will be less enemy ships that you need to target and less air defenses, so that you can keep your plane more alive, let's put it this way. And of course, the longer the match, the more damage you will do with your Strike Fighter. Okay, so this is the first strategy that I recommend you again to use. I am going to bring for this example this particular carrier because it has only one Strike Fighter that you can put. This one is fairly special. So we are going to focus, of course, on the damage that you can pull off with this one. So this is as a backup. I'm going to do another further review on this carrier, my thoughts. But so if we go into a match, I'm going to do commentary on it, and then we take it from there, shall we? Okay, we're going to grab this example over here, right? Very interesting map that that we are in. So we are going to try to locate ourselves fairly quickly. Go up full of speed, and then we are going to start our assault. First of all, of course, you have to decide who to attack, right? This particular map is interesting because we have another carrier. So you have to decide, you're going to try to attack the carrier, you're going to try to attack the battleship. If you feel that the camera is going to start failing on you, try to turn your plane so that you can avoid what was just happening over here, right? So again, you're going to try to launch your attack. In this particular case, bear in mind if you are dealing with a... Oh, I didn't even realize that it's this Strike Fighter. Apologies, I thought I was using the other one. But nevertheless, we did good damage. I realized at the right time. And now we're going to launch our Flogger. I was wondering why we only had one, and yes, it was because of that. Nevertheless, okay, let's focus on the Montana. And again, you are going to, again, decide to do the climb, launch runs per attack. It seems that some person is targeting our planes. Don't worry, it's okay. We're going to continue doing that. Yeah, we also see the carrier over there just chilling. I wish my team will wake up to try to target that. But it is good because we have taken down the one of the ships. So let's continue on our assault, right? He has used flares. I'm going to use the special missiles on my carrier. He flared, that's okay. Let's continue our assault. You notice that I'm keeping the map open as well for my team to, you know, wake up a little bit and try to take out this carrier over here that is just chilling and wheeling. But that's okay. Okay, we are going to check on that. That's just the carrier. Let's launch over here. Carrier and battleship are over. We have a fan in the form of yes, over here we have a lovely, of course, lover of SLBMs, which is annoying always, but that's okay, right? So we have to try to bear in mind to move ourselves, focus on the plane. Bear in mind just to keep this guy guessing all the time where what's it called? Where are you located? And yeah, this is going to be the Montana. Let's try to do this. He has flared. Again, this is just a different tactic from the MiG, because this is a special type of Strike Fighter, but more about that in the future. For the time being, again, I'm going to continue supporting over here. Let's move forward. Yep, and launch again A strike fighter, we only have the battleship now, so we don't have to worry about the submarine anymore, which is good news. And again, that is in general what is my advice on how to use the strike fighters. Again, very smooth battle, right? But again, the principle is the same. I can afford now just to climb more, and that climb is important because you are able to at least keep one of your planes alive, and then afterwards you can start going down. Do the final dive. Remember to use your cannons. Yeah, attack more. Do as much damage as possible. You are not here to keep your plane alive, right? Let's gonna push back a little bit. Yes, because I exposed myself for no reason whatsoever. So let's do that, right? And that is pretty much game. Okay, so we're going to look at the statistics over here of what happened in battle. So we had 0 destructions. That's okay, but you notice the damage, right? Usually you did well if you have more than 1000 damage, yeah, in the match. Of course, depends of a lot of factors, what carrier or assault carrier you are using. But if we go into the statistics over here, as you can see, you managed to do a good damage, let's put it this way, if you have more than 300 damage, I will say that. Even though I made, well, no, it was not a big mistake, but I did launch this strike fighter first. I still was able to pull off 400k damage with my MiG blogger. So that is good consistent damage that you want to continue doing. It's very, very, very useful. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything regarding how to do damage with strike fighters. Of course, this is my point of view. More than happy to hear more tactics from you guys. And as you can see, again, I mentioned I'm not selling the MiG, but if you don't have a good strike fighter, MiG is the best option, especially in the market. For some reason, prices are crazy with strike fighters, right? So right now this is cheap, and I don't understand why. So get it if you don't have it. Anyways, thank you very much everyone for watching on this video. I'll continue doing other tutorials in the future. Let me know what you would like to hear from me. Aside of that, I'll leave you to it. I wish you that you have a good weekend. This is Foxhound signing off. Have a good day, everyone.